How's it going, everybody? It's the CDH Warrior coming at you with an episode of How Will It Cook? So, let's roll the title. So, the whole point of this specific series is talking about boxed meals and trying to avoid dairy, allergens, things like that. So today we are going to be trying to taste test, or this is more of a retest. I did this a year ago, and it's kind of a new and improved box. So we'll see if that means it's improved much. But this is Daiya Deluxe Mac and Cheese, cheddar style. Hang on. That's better. They have light, so you can actually read the box. That's what the box looks like. So, I'm going to grab a spoon. I will get a bowl in a little bit, but I wanted to get everything else together first. So, we're just going to make it according to the package instructions. We got our medium saucepan, 2 quarts of water, that's heavy, and our box of mix. So, over time we'll start getting into baking mixes and things like that, and if it says it's dairy-free or something, we'll see how accurate it is. First thing we're going to do is heat our water, as that was a total failure. Stuff's relatively clean, so and we'll get this going over medium heat. The biggest thing is going to be getting the water to boil. Put it on high so that way it heats up a little bit quicker. Got a spoon. There's apparently something on the eye. So, the reason why I do these videos is so I can show you taste tests of dairy-free alternatives and things of that sort. Let me put this away. It's one I'm lactose intolerant, so it makes things a little hard for me to find food that I can actually eat without getting sick from. I mean, so much stuff has dairy in it or has dairy derivatives in it. Like, a lot of things are whey protein based, which can do a number on us if you have lactose intolerance. For those of us that deal with lactose intolerance, it can be an absolute curse. It's one, you see all the stuff in the grocery store and how things are and think, oh well, you have all of these alternatives. You know what? 10 years ago, we didn't have most of this. 10 years ago, most of the alternatives you see at a grocery store were non-existent. We had two choices. Avoid it completely, or if we wanted to try it, suffer the consequences. So that's why these things are such a big deal. It's one, for me at least, while I'm talking, I'm going to grab a colander, because we're going to need to drain this and then put the water in it. I'm going to need a larger colander. That should be about right. So, to deal with some of the issues I have, I'm a CDH survivor, so I've been put through the ringer. With a lot of these things, a lot of health issues, most people don't think about what they do to the patient, if that makes sense. I hate to put it as the patient, but more accurately, what it does to the person. Because it makes it super hard to do anything. And it's one, I don't know how well anyone can hear me. I may have to get a microphone later so you all can actually hear me where I am. But it's one... Yeah, I know I moved the camera. It's one with people with health issues. We're generally the unseen. And generally, even when we are seen, it's kind of a... we get pushed to the side. We're treated somewhat as outcasts, not in the literal sense, but in the figurative sense. Over the next few weeks, I'll kind of do like some pizza and things like that that are dairy-free. Daiya makes some really interesting food. We'll be taste testing some ice cream over the next few weeks as well, before the weather turns cold. So, for me, living with CDH as an adult leaves me in an awkward position. Go ahead and open this box so you can see what the contents are. So in the box, we have a plastic bag of our noodles and an aluminum foil packet of our cheese. Kind of put the box back together. This is, and I don't know how many people are worried about calorie counts or anything. It's 209. There's 3 servings in this, and it's 290 calories a serving. It's 800 calories, almost 900 calories a box. And yes, I will probably eat the whole box. But let's see. Here's all the calorie count, nutrition information. So now our pot's starting to boil. Slowly. All of this is live, so what you are seeing is in real time. No, it may not be pretty, but it gives you a sense of reality. Let's see, where was I? I was discussing how hard it is for us to find things that are either in box or just in general in the grocery store that we can eat. So most of this stuff is more for people that are on the run. Now, aside from the fact that it's now taken 12 minutes for this to boil, but then again, we started from the beginning real time, so it's not bad. I'm going to add some salt to this water. Raise the salinity, make it boil a little bit faster. So it's one. I do these videos without a shirt, so you all can see all the scar tissue from what I've been through. I've been through what is considered a rare disorder, although it affects between 1 in 2,500 and 1 in 4,000 infants a year. But it's one of the least talked about, or least known, birth defects. Because if you talk about CDH, congenital diaphragmatic hernia, people will look at you like, huh? Or they'll try and go with the, oh, I had a hernia too, and that's not what happened. It's a lot more extreme than just a hernia. It's one, generally with a general hernia, your abdominal organs aren't completely in your chest cavity. One of our biggest things that we have to worry about, a lot of people don't see a lot of the struggles we go through. It's not just, oh, we're repaired and we can move on. There's a lot of other health issues we deal with as well. We deal with, for those of us that had abdominal organs in our chest, we've got deformed lungs as a result, and they'll never be the right size. So that's honestly hard on us. Can we do physical activity? Yeah. But it stresses us out. Physically stresses us out more than, say, the average person. As I like to explain, I have a lot of power, but I don't have the ability to sustain it. Looks like our water is almost boiling. The rest of this will go pretty quick because this just needs to boil or cook for about 8 minutes. So we'll try and deal with our timer in a minute. It's one, over time with these, we'll start doing some other things, like Daiya makes pizzas. And I was actually planning on doing that for one of my videos when I first started, before I had the cooking channel, before I had this channel. They make pepperoni pizza, they make cheese pizza, a cheese lovers, which I believe is a 4-cheese pizza. They make a supreme pizza. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of try and taste test and test cook those and see how they do. Now, one thing that I have that most people don't, no, I don't have it, is I have a pizza stone somewhere. That's not necessarily a big deal if you don't have one. It just means that your pizza is not going to be as crispy, which is perfectly fine. For all intents and purposes, I'm still a normal 27-year-old. It's one I can do most of the things that pretty much anyone else can do. It just takes me a little bit longer. Looks like we've got our water boiling. Now we're going to add our pasta. I remember I had this issue last time as well. Give me 1 second. So I'll also kind of talk about some of the rest of my life over the time of this video. Go ahead and pour that in. Go ahead and get our silver packet of cheese sauce and stuff the plastic back in there. There really isn't a lot of pasta, so I may end up adding some extra pasta. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to add a little more pasta to this to bulk it up. pretty much starting to come back to a boil, so we're going to go ahead and put our timer on for about 7 minutes. And there's nothing else we need to do to this for now. Yes, it's going to be almost half an hour to do this, but I figure it's better to have real time than do all the cuts and try and edit and figure everything out. So the whole point of this series is taste testing boxed meals. And I've got a couple over the next few weeks. We're going to do a dairy-free pizza. We're going to do some ronzoni, herb and olive oil pasta. Just considering that's something that we can eat, or that's allergen friendly for the most part. And yes, we have our own garden, and we kind of picked some things the other day. Got some tomatoes and some okra and some minor things like that. I'll have to go out to the garden today and see what's going on. Our pasta is almost ready. And I added some extra pasta just to bulk this up. That was the only reason for it. Give me 1 second. Thought I had one of those pizzas, but no. I was going to show you all a picture of what we're doing next week. Or show you all what we were doing next week, but I don't have one in the freezer today. May cook it for an extra minute or so. It's going to be good. Now, I've done this one before a while ago where I did the Alfredo style, but I did it just straight out of the box. But we're going to wait. We've got 2 minutes left on this. It's kind of hard to just randomly talk to a camera. I'll be honest, it is very hard. Let me go retrieve a bowl while you all can continue to watch the pot. So this is going to be the bowl we're going to use. Now, normally I'd have the camera set up in a different angle, so you'd be looking at the stove and a table, so you could see my ingredients. But that would only be if I show you how to cook. But it's fun. Some of the things we're going to taste test over the next couple of weeks, things like frozen pizzas, we're going to do some ronzoni to see, is it allergen friendly? I mean, for me, it doesn't have to be purely dairy friendly, i.e. where this says completely dairy free. I can deal with like butter and olive oil and things like that. Butter, and I can't do heavy cream and things like that. That's where my limitations. I can eat aged cheeses, so it doesn't have to be completely dairy free. It just has to be lactose free, or have most of the lactose eaten out of it. And when you age cheese, it pretty much gets rid of the lactose. We're going to let that. We're going to let it drain for a minute, and then we'll be back. There's also one of these with shells instead of with the elbow macaroni. That looks drained enough. Well, that didn't work out well. Kids, do not do this. Don't get any ideas. Well, since you can see it, I guess we can just move everything to that back eye. There's got to be a perforation strip somewhere. There we go. Now we're just going to pour our cheese sauce in there. We're going to do some general box meals over the next few weeks, like the ronzoni and things like that, just for show. Although the main goal in the series was to show that there are allergen-friendly alternatives. There we go. There's our mac and cheese. So this is 3 servings. Yeah, I don't think we'll pay attention to the serving size. I can eat all this in one sitting. Unfortunate, but true. We're going to spoon some of this out. And remember, it looks like a lot, but remember we added some extra pasta to it, so... That is good. Put this on the back eye so it doesn't burn. Let me grab a fork and we'll taste test. This bowl is hot. This turned out pretty good, especially for this kind of being a retry. That's really good. So, for the Shirtless Chef, this is another episode of How Will It Cook, featuring Daiya Deliciously Dairy-Free Deluxe Mac and Cheese, Cheddar style, with CDH Warner and the Shirtless Chef. Have a great day, and I will see you next week.